Everybody, it's Michael Johnson with Meta Johnson Associates, and I wanted to take a moment today during this current coronavirus crisis to talk about hope. For those of you that know me, a lot of my professional background has been in hospice, and I have a few years now also under my belt as a care manager. And so I've spent a lot of time in my professional career helping people face crisis. And I've really been thinking lately about how what we're facing as a world right now really blends with what we've learned in caring for hospice patients and in helping people through times of crisis and yeah, in the medical world. I have some notes. I'll do my best not to ramble, but it's a pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Profound topic. I could go on a long time about it, so I'm going to try not to, and hopefully you'll still take something meaningful away from this. I'm going to try to pull up my notes while I'm doing the camera. We're all learning new skills. Um, so the first message I wanted to say, and that I often share with the families, the clients I'm working with, is to be patient with yourself because in times of crisis, everyone responds differently. Um, and when you're someone that's experiencing a crisis, a lot of the times friends and family often offer, advice that was helpful for them. But the important thing is to do what's most helpful for you. And people tend to respond in one of three different ways. And these are broad categories, but people tend to respond to crisis either with one, wanting to control. They make lists, they check things off, they categorize and write things down, and they have a schedule. Another response is people may withdraw. So, someone that maybe was engaged or would talk with friends and really be out and about is suddenly kind of shut down. Sorry about that. And so, with our social distancing, that's part of it. But you can also withdraw internally as well. And third, people can just try to ignore what's going on. And that tends to be challenging if you do that for too long. So I also wanted to acknowledge that it is totally normal for your emotions to be all over the place. If one moment you're hopeful, you feel informed, you're reading the news and somehow gleaning some good news from everything that's going on, and then in almost a matter of moments, heartbeats, you can suddenly feel despair, sadness, horror about the future. Um, so again, to be kind of emotionally all over the place in a time of crisis is totally normal. At the same time, this is an extended period we're going through. So definitely receive support around that. All of us should be receiving support around that, either through therapy, talking with friends, and all of that. That's going to be common knowledge. I think, as a sidebar, that our culture is going to change in terms of how it perceives mental health and mental wellness. I think it will move away from that being stigmatized and that you need to pick yourself up by your bootstraps after pretty much our whole country, our whole world has had to experience something like this. Um, Now, my next thing I wanted to really touch on um, ah, is so, again, if your emotions are all over the place, that's normal. And there's a lot of similarities between what people are experiencing in response to all of this and the stages of grief that for those people that work in that setting, Kubler-Ross is kind of the trailblazer in this concept. I mean, it's her model of the stages of grief. And go ahead, check it out. That, again, is a huge topic in its own. But the concept that these stages aren't necessarily linear. So, again, in one moment, you can feel hopeful, but in the next, you feel depression and sadness or anxiety. So, being aware that is how we as humans process things. And everyone has their unique trajectory and roadmap for that. Um, so let's see. Moving on to the idea of acceptance, and I think this is why I wanted to make this video, is talking about how to find hope uh, when you really are in a place of crisis. Um, Sorry, this is kind of an emotional topic. And it's a new way of living. Acceptance allows you to find hope, not in that everything is going to be the same, everything's going to go back to the way it was, um, but a new vision of the future. Um, you redefine what's a good day. When again we're in this really kind of restrictive environment, a good day isn't necessarily going to be able to include going out to dinner with your friends right now. So finding those things, those traits where you're like, okay, yeah, this helps me feel good, um, and savoring those moments, really cherishing and relishing them. It can be easy. For example, if you're on social media and you find a funny video and you laugh and you think, wow, okay, that feels good. And then you keep scrolling past and then suddenly it's, update on unemployment numbers and then you're back down again. So really being mindful and taking that time to savor the good parts. Um, and when you feel the hard moments, feel your way through those. Find that emotion that is being stirred up in you, and sit with it. Um, at the same time, moving forward from that spot, and not really getting drawn down in the mire of that, but take the lesson from it and move forward. Take what you need to savor and appreciate and move forward. Um, and we really are in this together. Again, this is something that this circumstance sets it apart from, our work that we do as care managers, the work of hospice and, private practitioners. Um, Sometimes feeling alone um, is one of the hardest things to struggle with when someone is in an individual crisis, feeling like no one else can understand what I'm going through. Um, and in this case, we all really are in it together. So hopefully, those are some inspiring and um, hopeful messages that people can carry with them. Uh, and yeah, we're here to support all of our clients and their family members. So feel free to reach out. And yeah, hopefully that is helpful for you as we move forward and lightens your heart a little bit and offers some hope. Take care.